pay attention to light, video, audio. My video tends to look better, not because my office, not because my smile, it's because I just pay attention to things like light, video, audio, and ambiance. It's a lot easier than a lot of people make it. There's a few tips when you're working with a conference call or a Zoom meeting. I've hosted Zoom meetings for large organizations. I've had a ton of Teams calls, Zoom calls, video calls, many services I've used for video conferencing. There are a few things you can do to just make yourself be a little more natural, a little less annoying to those people you're meeting with, colleagues, your customers. We all know that we have stuff on our screens in front of us that are going to distract us. So my advice is to put your webcam at a place that you're going to be looking close to it, if not directly at it. So my camera is a bit above. You can see it's sitting above and behind in the middle of that ring light there on the other side of the microphone in this image. Up here, my screen is down here, but I tried to get it as close to my screen as possible. My webcam over here is right above my screen, right on top of my screen. If I have something that I'm presenting to a group or I'm talking to a group, if I have notes, I am going to put it as close to the top of my screen as I can because I want it to be as close to the camera as possible. It's a natural thing that when we have video up on our screen, we're going to look at our own video, right? We want to see ourselves. We want to see how things are going. When we're talking, it makes sense that I can watch myself talking. And if you have your video over here on this monitor, you're going to look like this. And every time you're talking, you're going to talk to the video. So take your video, put it as close to the top of your screen, the top corner, whatever you need to do. Take your video, drag it over, put it right here at the top of your screen. So that way when you're looking and maybe you're looking at the speaker, put them right there. And this is about as high as I can get it, but my eyes are going to be right there and it's not that far from the camera. And when I'm paying attention to that speaker or even myself over here, maybe I do have to write an email in the middle of a meeting. Don't do that. That's kind of rude. Try not to do it. Try to stay focused on the meeting when you're there. But if you do have to do something, put it over here, mute yourself. I'm going to type my email here. I'm going to go through everything. Every once in a while, I do have someone message me who's in the meeting. Maybe they had reminded of something that they need to mention. They'll message me. I'm not doing this. You want to be a good audience. When I have been standing in front of rooms talking and there's people looking at their phones, I sure hope they're taking notes, but there's times you can tell. When I'm standing and I'm talking to a group of people, a group of students, and they're looking and talking to each other and laughing about stuff, I don't feel very good. I don't feel good about myself. I don't think they're hearing me, and it's extremely rude. Try to avoid that. Think about what you would want to see if you were speaking, how you would want people to interact. You're not going to want them heads down. You're not going to want them not looking at you and doing other stuff. You're going to want them at least looking a little bit engaged with you. Another thing that happens a lot on meetings is those notifications. Ding, ding, bing, bing. Everyone's getting emails and stuff, and the main speaker, the person presenting, they're talking, and you hear a bing, and then it kind of takes away from the audio because things are fluctuating. And the volume comes back up. There's a really easy way to get around that. All you gotta do, the bottom of Windows, speaker icon, right click on it, and you're gonna click Open Volume Mixer. This is the volume mixer. This is what I do every single meeting, every single session I do. Anytime you have a program or an app that uses audio open, it's going to show in this audio mixer. So now I've opened a few other apps. Zoom will have a few different ones. If I'm in a Teams meeting, there's gonna be two of them. One of them will have the audio from the speaker. I go in here and I mute everything, so I am not getting any notifications. I'll often see my web browsers is in here as well, and I will mute those as well. You don't have to close out of those programs, but you're going to want to at least mute those audio sources, so when you get notifications, it's not being distracting and it's not being annoying. This is a caution, so I did have Teams open, I just closed Teams. The next time I open Teams, it's going to be muted. Really important before you exit out. After you finish your meeting, come in here, unmute everything again, then you can go in and you can start closing out of your applications because your volume settings should save. I cannot tell you how many people don't know about this. They don't do it, they don't care about it, and they're busy people. We're all busy people, so they're getting these notifications. Their web browser is dinging, their Outlook is dinging. They have another calendar meeting coming up. I know that they have another meeting in 15 minutes. Open your volume mixer, mute everything, especially if you're doing a session where you're training people. It's highly valuable, it's not going to be as distracting, and you might think people don't hear that. They hear it. Mute everything else. The easiest pro tip to make your conferences, your meetings, your sessions feel more professional. Turn on your camera. Please put your video, whatever screen you're looking at, near your camera. Don't use your built-in webcams, especially on laptops. Put your webcam up as close to eye level as you can. Focus on your lighting. Get the light, your light source behind your camera. If you don't have a window in your office, that's okay. Get an LED light, this cheap ring light. Just get a desk lamp, set it kind of close to your webcam, turn it toward you, and turn it on so you're getting some light on your face and taking the shadows off. Having lighting is very important. It's going to make you look better on video, and maybe that's what's holding you back from turning on your camera in the first place, is because you just don't have good lighting. Focus on your background. I see a lot of people who it looks like they're sitting in their living room. Sometimes you have to set up in a living room and you don't have much space. Maybe move your desk. Like me, you're not that far from the wall, but your background is solid. Those fake backgrounds are getting really old. I understand if you're in an office environment and you can't do that and you need to use those blurred backgrounds or whatever, but try to focus on what things look like. I don't want to have a bunch of clutter in the back. This camera here normally is not going to be sitting there because it's cluttered. The most you're going to see is my microphone, and then behind me I have things over here on the shelf. I have the acoustic treatments on the back wall, and then I have these little lights, and I just have that to give some depth to my room. It is really easy to make a good looking office space. You can go to Target or Walmart and get these nice dividers, accordion folding type dividers for like a room divider. Get one of those and set them behind you 4 or 5 feet and just set it there. You might be sitting in your living room and just have a wall. That's okay. It's going to look much better and much more professional having that sort of wall than it will be having people walking around in the background or having those distractions. I think that's another reason people don't turn on their cameras, is because they are embarrassed of their background or they don't want people walking around their background. Then solve it. Flip your desk around. Get a solid background behind you. Having your camera on is a lot more important than you probably realize. Pay attention to light, pay attention to video, pay attention to audio, pay attention to ambiance. You shouldn't have a problem with your conference setup, meeting setups, video setups anymore.